else and tell us where you're from.
I'm
Uh,
Barbara Ward.
And I'm Barbara Mallard.
okay. Well, the Barbaras. Okay. And you all are from Ashe County? Is that right?
No, Randolph County.
Randolph County.
We're
Okay.
in Asheboro, but
Asheboro. You're where the
we're
zoo is, right?
right. Yeah, and we're in Randolph County.
Okay.
We're
Well, welcome. Now, are both of you treasurers? Are you one treasurer, one president? What?
we're co-treasurers.
You're co-treasurers.
I do the computer technical stuff, and she keeps up with the account, and and then writes checks, and then everything else we collaborate and do everything. So it's just that if something needs technical, like the Zoom session. That's why we're on Barbara's iPad, because
this Barbara does not deal with computers.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being here. And Miriam, where are you from? Oh, unmute. If you want to, just press on the space key and it'll.
I got it.
Yeah,
I'm from Columbus County.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
And I happen to know Nell, but Nell, introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, everyone. I am from I do this like I said, I've been on so many Zooms. It's called that. I'm from Destiny, Rocky Mountain, North Carolina, and I'm looking out the window now because they're talking about us getting some bad weather coming in, and I'm glad to be a part of you. And I'm also the NCRSP membership chair.
Yeah, Nell is a membership chairperson. State membership chair. She does an outstanding job for us. So everybody thank Nell.
Thank you.
And she had one of the very best getting people to attend a membership recruitment meeting last year. It was so fanciful and so cool. She'll have to tell you about it because at some point, I really loved it. I thought that was one of the greatest ideas, Neil.
Okay.
Kathy, how are you this morning?
I am well, thank you. I am treasurer for Region 2 and also Davidson County local.
All right. Outstanding. So where do you live in Region 2?
I live in Linwood, which is an outskirt Lexington.
Yeah, okay. I know I used to have some locals over that way when I was uniserving for NCAE several million years ago. Hi, Norm. Hello.
Hello there.
And where are you today?
I'm in Boone.
Oh, okay. You're just across the mountain from me. You probably will get snow.
Yeah, we're supposed to get a little bit, I think.
So now, are you treasurer for Watauga County or for
I am.
Okay, because Region 1B is down in Cleveland County. Okay. So what we're going to talk about today, how many of you all have been treasurers for quite a bit of time?
We have.
Okay, great. So a lot of the things I'm going to talk about, you probably already know. How many of you already know your EIN number? Okay.
I couldn't.
Okay. Now, you have one. You probably may not know it because whoever opened your checking account, whenever it was opened, probably had it. So it is an employer identification number, and it's 9 numbers. And if you will need to get it. The best way to do it is to take for those of if you could take both signers to the checking account, that would be even better. But if only one of you can go, take your monthly statement from the bank with you and your identification and go to the bank that has your account and ask them for your EIN number. They'll know what you're talking about and they will give it to you because you will need that later. Okay, I'll get into those PowerPoints in a few minutes. And I'm going to assume, never assume anything, but I will assume, does everybody have at least two people on their checking account?
Yes.
Okay,
You
all
are.
right. And everybody knows you can't write a check to yourself, correct?
Correct.
All right, yay. So we got that all straightened out. And the other one is you all know that anybody who is on your checking account cannot sign the audit,
You're right.
right?
Yeah, spreading shade.
All right. So we're in good shape. How many of you have a separate checking account for your scholarship money if you do scholarships?
We do.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Somebody asked me about that, so I think I'll explain that one first. As a nonprofit, there is actually there's actually North Carolina law for nonprofits that says about 80% of whatever you take in as dues money is to be used for the benefit of your members. And that doesn't mean you just hand out checks and tell them to go shop for Christmas, okay? How a benefit works in terms of the nonprofit and what you do, which is you are mainly supported by dues. And that's the first thing that you have to have as and we're called a
1C3.
5C, as in Charlie, 6, 5, and then they put a little parentheses around the C, 6 organization.
Now, is that the same thing as a 501c?
Yeah. But basically, yeah, it's like a 501c6. And it's not a 503b because a 503b is a charitable organization and they are supported by donations. A 501c6 is supported by dues, people paying some kind of money into the organization, but basically dues money to join. And the other thing is that you have to have a common business interest. And so somebody was asking me today, what is our common business interest? If you haven't looked at our website lately, if you go to, does everybody know about our website and how to get to it? It's NCRSP.org. NCRSP.org. If you go there, as soon as it brings up the page, it will give you our mission statement, which basically is to make sure that retirees have a good life. In other words, we try to improve and employ retiree benefits so that, you don't have to be groveling anywhere, and that we support efforts to help public education. And that's where it comes in if we do food drives for schools, or you do clothing drives, or we give funds to our school foundations here to Buncombe and to Asheville City Schools. And most of the time we ask that those go, one of them at least goes to new teachers who are trying to, get their foot firmly steadied and some supplies for their classroom. So we'll say when we give the money that we would like for it to enhance or benefit the teaching profession. We did give one this year because of all the trouble that's been up here with Helene. To each of the school systems, we gave a 225 grant that could help kids or their families in the holidays if they needed food, fuel, or other things. So now, people have told, there's been all kinds of talk. Scholarship money does need to be separate. You can't intermingle the funds because scholarship money is not dues money. You usually raised it or somebody has donated particularly to go into scholarship. And that's the reason we keep that account separate. Now, if you want to give to a foundation like your school foundation or to the North Carolina Foundation for Public School Children,
School children.
man, I got to get that all out at one time. All you need to do is decide how much that donation is going to be, put it in your current year budget, and make sure that your membership has notice on it so that if you present the budget at the beginning of the year, or if you haven't put it in yet, then at your next meeting, put it in as an amendment to the budget because that protects you that your membership knows about that money and they know that it's going to the fund. Whether a foundation fund, in other words, it's going to a charitable foundation because North Carolina Foundation, NCFSC is
NCFPSC.
a 5013B. Okay. Okay, I think those were the particular things I wanted to be sure I got off. Have you all been, oh, I know. Okay, anybody a regional treasurer? I forgot to ask. Okay. Your regional directors were told at the last executive board meeting that we have changed over to an ACH system of depositing your money. The regional treasurers no longer going to get a paper check from NCRSP. They will get an electronic deposit into the regional checking account. Okay? And it will come monthly. And Carol receives from NCAE our monthly check, I guess, our monthly, how does that work, Carol? When NCAE puts over our portion of the dues that have been paid.
They do that also electronically. They send us a notification, a spreadsheet of all the locals and how much that is from the different dues sources. So we have that giant spreadsheet, and then we have an ACH deposited into our account that tells us this is for the division dues and it's also for the local dues. And it's up to us to redistribute the local dues to the locals monthly.
Okay, so this is what I've told the other treasurers so far. If you are a local treasurer, then I'm saying check with your regional director because the regional director is going to have to talk to the executive board and talk to their regional treasurer. Does the regional treasurer, does it work out for them to send those checks every month? Or do they want to keep sending them to you quarterly? You know, like you now get the first quarter checks for your local, then you should be getting your first quarter checks about now. I believe Tara told us that those went out and they should be to your regional director sometime the 1st of December, around the 1st of December. So this time everybody's going to get whatever the first quarter check would be. But after that, I think that the regional directors and the regional treasurers will need to talk about it. Now, I don't know how your regions, I don't know how your locals are. I don't know what kind of money you have, and you don't need to be telling me that. I can look on your audit form and see. But if at any time during the year you have a cash flow problem, and it would be better for you to receive your check monthly as opposed to waiting every 3 months, then talk to your regional director, your president, and the regional treasurer if it's more beneficial for you all to receive that money monthly. Because I don't know what your all's local dues money looks like at this point. We have been okay only because, during the COVID era, nobody had meetings. So we didn't spend money on the lunches or travel for somebody to come and do a program or something like that. So, okay, any questions to this point? Are we okay to this point? You need to know anything? Yes.
So you're saying that we don't necessarily have to get these checks monthly, that we can keep on doing it quarterly if we work that out with our regional treasurer. Is
If
that
I,
correct?
I would say with your regional board, after you
Okay.
talk to your local president and your local,
Right.
executive board, and they say, okay, yeah, our books look like we don't need, to have it monthly, then
Right.
that's fine. But that's the decision that you all make. But you need to know that that money will be coming to your regional treasurer on a monthly basis from now on.
Okay.
And the regional treasurer, and I'm assuming that we have all the regional banking account numbers and everything that we need now to be able to deposit them that way. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so all of them will be getting them because we do have the places they need to go. Okay, the accounts, excuse me, not the places, but the accounts. All right.
So now, should we take the initiative to get to contact our regional director or treasurer, or are they going to reach out to us?
I think that go on and reach out to your regional director. Neil, would you say that you would rather know as regional director so you can talk to your officers about this? She's unmuting. Wait a minute. Okay, Neil, you're muted, honey.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Regional director first. That's who you would need to talk to about your scheduling, how you want your money to be received. Speak to your regional director.
Yeah, because I think that I think it's going to make it a lot easier if either the region decides you're going to get it quarterly or you're going to get it monthly. I don't think
Yes.
you can ask the treasurer to do some checks quarterly and some checks monthly. I think that's going to get to be too much. Keeping up with that then gets to be a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. Let's see. I had somebody down here. June. I don't think I got you to introduce yourself. So where are you from?
You sure didn't.
Well, welcome everybody. Glad to be here. I'm June, the local Vance County president. Our treasurer was supposed to be on, but I'm assuming she will be on tomorrow.
Okay. And where are you from again?
Vance County, Henderson.
Okay. Oh, I know where you are. Okay.
North of Durham.
North of Durham, right.
Yes.
So my brother lives up toward Youngsville, so you know where that.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. If you're pretty comfortable with the regular treasurer's job, you don't have any special questions, then I'm going to share with you something that could make you a little nervous, okay? So let me go back. You do know, you have probably heard that we are changing the way that elections happen within our state for the retired. Has everybody heard about that?
Yes.
Okay, to be able to do that, then we have to change our Constitution, which means it's going to be a long discussion of the Constitution at the convention, and you're going to want to be there just to hear all the good stuff. But at the same time that we're doing that to become in compliance with a federal law that governs labor organizations. Now, you have probably, because I was a UNICEF staff person in several different states. I always tell people I was either witness protection or couldn't keep a job, but I worked in several different states for 35 years as a UNICEF for the National Education Association. And during that time, we had always said, we don't, our associations are not under the federal labor law because the federal labor law sets up what they call the National Labor Council. And so if you were a steel mill worker or an auto worker, you would belong to a great big union and they would represent people. But what makes them different from the National Education Association or the NEAR is that we were always employed as public employees in school systems. If you were employed in a school system or you were in any kind of state employment, you were employed by public entities, either the state or local school board. You could have been employed at a junior college, a university, anybody that would be under a public domain paid by public funds. Those folks, those teachers, those cafeteria workers, bus drivers, custodians, anybody who worked in the school system, even if they had a problem, they could have never gone to the National Labor Relations Board because those folks don't even look at public employees. So we just never dealt with it. We said, "Oh, go away. We're not private people. We're public employees. You can't mess with us." But with all the mess that's going on right now, they've decided that we really need to protect ourselves by going under this law. So to do that, we're going to start to file taxes. Now, I will tell you that North Carolina retired school personnel files taxes every year. And our auditor does that. Just as long, I don't write checks. I don't say okay to expense counts. All I do is sort of look out here and go like, oh yeah, that's what we're doing. And Carol does all the work. And then I tell you all everything that Carol told me to do. So she's the smart person. I'm the mouthpiece. But she is a fine, fine person to keep our books and keep our finances straight. And we think she is absolutely wonderful. So thank you, Carol. Yay, Carol. Okay, but I need to share my screen and sort of tell you what's going on. And of course, I always have to go looking all over the place for it because it never comes up when I think it should. So let me go down. And no, I'm coming back. Okay. All right. Well, view. I'm going to start a slideshow. Okay. Now you all should be able to, can you all see the screen now?
Nope.
Yeah. Okay, so there you are, but what happened to my,
What are you gonna do then?
I'm gonna see just a minute. There it is. Okay, are we okay now?
Yes.
You can see it?
Got it.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Matt Howard is the NCAE business manager, financial director, chief financial officer, whatever you, he takes care of all the money that comes in to NCAE. And he presented this to the NCAE treasurers not too long ago, and I sat in as the NCRSP treasurer. So to comply with the federal law, which by the way has been around since 1952, this is not a new law, but in the past only the groups that were represented by private employers adhered to it. Now public employee groups are starting to do so. So, oh, come on. This is the stuff I was just talking to you about. Do you have a copy of your local constitution, and have you perused it to make sure that you're complying with what others in your constitution? Have you looked at what happened with your budgets last year? And did you get hard hit by anything? And I'll tell you what'll happen is when we had Helene here last fall, a bunch of our cash payer stuff never got to our cash payers. Luckily, Carol called up a bunch of them and we got some of those people back. But with everybody just having been displaced, from September the 27th, probably till January the 1st of February, I can't tell you how many people were displaced out of their homes, apartments, or anything here. You know that up there, probably in Boone too. Avery
Yes.
County and over there at Benner Elk, they just disappeared out of the face of the earth. So you have to look and see and make sure if you've been, anything's happened with your budget. You do know that your membership determines how much money you're going to have to spend this year. You know that you get $10 a member. If you're region, you get $7. You have your bank accounts. You're going to get your EIN number. How many of you have filed what they call a postcard tax return for your local association? You have? You're
Yes.
great. Then you're going to be able to keep your nonprofit status.
Okay.
If you haven't filed taxes for the last 3 years, they take away your nonprofit status. So we got to be sure that people are filing these forms. Anybody here get well, let me go to the next one. It'll be easier to explain. We've talked about this. Okay. Now, NCAE is exempt from paying federal taxes under the 501c6. But you have to obtain your own tax exempt status by submitting your own 501c6. And you also, to become a nonprofit, have to have filed a Form 1024. So, but if you at one point filed the 1024, which gives you nonprofit status and it's filed with the IRS, and you didn't do the tax form for 3 years, your nonprofit status disappeared. So, I just talked about this part. What makes us the 501c6? That we have common business interest, that the primary purpose is to promote that interest, which is making life beneficial to retirees and supporting public education. We must be a membership organization, and you must have meaningful membership support. And we're not going to have to fill out the long form, but if anybody came to talk to you about your local, they would ask you, now, what do you do for your members that's a benefit to them? How would you answer the question? Well, maybe you send people up to Raleigh occasionally to help with lobbying. If you pay travel for those people to go, then you have spent dues money in benefit of your members in sending those people to talk to the legislature in terms of trying to make sure that your members get the money and benefits that they should. If you have somebody come and talk to your folks about being a senior citizen in your community and talking about senior citizen services, that would be a benefit to your members. If you had somebody who came and talked about chair yoga to your members, that would make them healthier, right? So that would be a benefit to them. Any expense that you had to make to bring those programs to your members is money that you've spent to be beneficial to those members. Now, does that make any sense? Do you understand what I'm getting at here? Because if you were having to file a long form, then it would ask, what was the benefit? And then it would go down in another place, and what did you have to expend to provide the benefit? But you're not going to probably take in enough money to have to file a long form. But that's the kind of thing that we file at the state NCRSP, and our auditor files that for us. So if you take the convention and the fact that we do programs at the convention, that we have volunteer lobbyists, we provide a newsletter. Those are all things that we try to do for members that would be a benefit to them. Does this make any sense to you, what I've just talked about?
But what you're saying, Gretchen, is all we're going to have to file is that the e-postcard, the 990N form,
Yes.
and it's incredibly simple. There's
Right.
nothing to it, and you just e-file it. There's nothing,
Yeah.
no big deal.
You can
Okay.
file it online. You're right.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Now,
wait a minute. What were you talking about? So are we assuming that we've had nonprofit status all of these years, even though we have never filed a 990N since
And
nineteen
and the reason that you have assumed that is because until this point, you have never been under a private employer. Only only private organizations in the past have been subject to these laws.
All right. So are you saying that we do, if we've not been filing this 990N postcard all these years, then do we have to start back at square one and get nonprofit status?
Basically, yes. So let me tell you how we do that. So now this is the reason you're going to file as he said, the 990M, which is it's called an e-postcard. That's really what you're going to file. As long as you don't take in your local or region more than $50,000 in dues, or have a fundraiser that makes more than $50,000 in dues, then all you have to do is the e-postcard. So do any of you get more than $50,000 in dues and fundraisers?
No.
Okay, no. All right. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. So at NCRSP, we do take in gross receipts more than 50,000, but our total assets, if any of your all's locals or regions are worth more than $500,000, you go to another category. But if you have gross receipts more than 50,000, but total assets less than 200,000, 500,000, or no, excuse me. Yeah. Then you can do the EZ. But if you're over 500,000 in assets, if you have more than $500,000 in the bank or with some kind of a firm like, well, we're with Raymond James, but one of the people that you invest in an investment firm, then you're okay. You're going to be all filing that 50,000, the postcard. Okay, because you don't fall under the other categories. We decided, even though this is something pretty simple to do, as you've told us, this is basically what you have to say, that you have an EIN number. That's the reason you're going to go to bank and get one. If you already don't know it, you can go to your bank and get it. You put down the tax year. So this tax year will be 2025.
Yeah.
The legal name of your organization, and ours is Asheville Buncombe NCRSP, and the mailing address for us is my home address. And I guess for a lot of the treasurers, that's it, because you get most of the checks sent to you. And if you have another name that you use, we don't. The principal officer is going to be your president. And if you have a website, you're going to give the web address for that website if you have one. And then you just say and tell the truth that you didn't get more than $50,000 in dues and fundraisers. And then if you were disbanding the organization, that would be a question that you would answer, number 8. Please don't disband. We love you and want to keep you. Okay? Questions right here. A lot of people had questions. So we have decided, the convention committee met yesterday. We're going to do on Thursday morning a training about this just for local and regional treasurers. If they'll bring their iPads or their computers, with them. personal computers with them, then we'll file our 900 ends as a group. Everybody files theirs. We'll help you file them online so you'll know what to do. And then we will help you go back and fill out a Form 1024, which starts the nonprofit status all over again. So now you'll know and be able to teach the new treasurer, if necessary, how to do that postcard form. And you will have taken the first steps to get that 1024 back so that you have a tax exempt status. That way, we would like for everybody who's an affiliate, whether it's local, regional, state affiliate of NCAE, to be able to do this, to be able to get it. Okay? And we thought it might be easier if we brought people together and made them feel comfortable about this because they're having somebody walk them through it the first time. Does that sound like something that y'all would be interested in?
She told me doing this and where?
This is at the convention.
Right. And we're going to be in Concord down by Charlotte at the Embassy Suites. So you need to talk to your region or your local, however you all normally get to go. So you'll need one night, which would be Wednesday night, and the flyer has gone out. Does it go out to everybody, Carol, or to the region and local presidents, or what?
It goes out to everyone, and they will be encouraged to get with their local president to register.
Okay.
All right. My question is, so are you saying that because we've never had to have the nonprofit status, all of this, I have actually already talked with my tax advisor who said that she says that it was like about a 30-page document in order to get the nonprofit status, and that you first had to be set up as a corporation. Mm-hmm. So are you saying that this Form 1040 is not that difficult? Okay, all right, let me start my question over again. So are you saying, all right, I know how to file. I've done a 990N postcard for another
organization. Okay, yeah.
That's not a problem. What I want to know is what we've never filed it before. So when I go file that, are you saying that the IRS then is going to contact me back and say that my nonprofit status has been revoked and I've got to start all over again? Or
no, what you could do, once you have your EIN number, you can go either to the IRS site, or I think it's even the Secretary of State's site. As long as you have an EIN number, you can put that number in and it will tell you if you're identified as a nonprofit in the state. It has a lookup site.
All right. But now if you were identified as a nonprofit, then doesn't the IRS notify you every year that you were supposed to have, that you fill out that 990N? According to my tax advisor, she said that if we were nonprofit, that the IRS would have contacted us each year, and we would have known that we were supposed to be filing something. So if they've not contacted us at all, then doesn't that mean that we'll have to start the whole process over again?
Yeah, you'll have to do reinstatement.
Okay.
And so And the IRS, the one thing I found on the IRS website, because you just go to, www.irs.gov, they actually have a search engine for forms. So if you want to know how long the 1024 is, you just go to the IRS site. They have a place where it'll say, what form are you looking for? And you would put form 1024. And it'll pull it up for you. And it also has little places. It was sort of interesting to answer a question sometimes on the forms. They have a little question mark there. And what you do is if you click on the question, it'll give you more information about it. You can also walk through the forms. They have instruction sheets, just like they do for filling out your personal income tax. They have instruction sheets for how to fill out these particular forms. Now, the reason you probably haven't gotten anything from the IRS about your nonprofit status is because if you haven't filed in the last 3 years, you're no longer there on their radar. They don't know to send it to you.
All right, then my next question is this. We've been getting along. I mean, this hasn't hurt us in the past. It has not hurt us in the past, and we haven't needed the tax exempt status for anything. So why do we have to even do that now? Can we not just do like we always did and not have nonprofit status and let it go with that?
Well,
I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm just asking an honest question. If we've never had nonprofit status, we haven't been tax exempt or anything before, then why can we not just go ahead as we've always done it and not have to go through all of this? I don't mean to make a can of worms.
Okay.
I'm just saying, we've never. So if
okay, let me go back one more time and try to explain it. I'm going to try to explain this as I am understanding it from NCAE. Okay. And I have not talked to NEA about this because I'd probably get killed if I did. All right.
Before you start explaining that, can I kind of make a statement?
You can just say anything you want to. It's fine.
Well, no, because this has really got me confused. Maybe not, but number one, we as NCRSP region and local do not have any employees.
That's correct.
So therefore, I have been told that we do not need to have an EIN number because we don't have employees. We don't pay in taxes, and we don't file the tax.
Well, State Employees Credit Union told me as an organization, if I tried to, we have an account there, but they said if I tried to open an account and I was an organization, I could not open that account without an EIN number.
Well, the credit union is no longer supporting any kind of organization, whether it's educational or whatever. We had to go change the bank because we also were with the credit union, and I don't know if I know how to really explain this or not. So whenever we went to go and change, they asked us, was this an LLC? Was it this? Was it that? Do you have any employees? Yada, yada, yada. Now, I'm not talking about the state NCRSP. I'm talking about region
local,
and
right.
local. So therefore, on our checking account statement every month, it says on there, not for profit. So they did not set it up under anything other than an educational entity, because we were public school employees.
And you're still a retired organization that is part of your retirement comes from being a retired state employee. Your retirement is state employee retirement and state funds.
But
And
my retirement has nothing to do with NCRSP. I pay taxes on my retirement.
you pay taxes on your retirement. But remember, there's a particular law that I can't remember because I didn't teach in North Carolina. I taught in Tennessee.
You're talking the Bailey Act.
Yes. And that was lobbied for and gotten for you by NCRSP. And that then dismisses you from some taxes with the state, but not with the federal government.
Right.
Right. Okay. So, but it has nothing to do with this is about labor law. Okay. It's about the the reason that the NEA and EAR are targets is NEA is the largest organization representing any kind of employees in the United States. It's larger than United Auto Workers. It's larger than steel workers. It's larger than truck drivers. All of them, well, they're not any coal miners really. United Mine Workers went out a long time ago. But it's much, much larger than those. It's larger than the AFL-CIO. It makes it a prime target, but they cannot get to them under current labor law because they have never been never represented private employees. But you notice that what they did is they took away the Department of Education and they want to destroy public education in the United States. And the best way to do that is to go after the teachers, retired teachers, everybody. And then, in the great big beautiful bill is that great big voucher system that they've put into place that will give money to people to send their kids to private schools. So most everybody is looking at we got a target on our backs, so that we're going to try to conform to what labor law is out there, even though right now it affects mostly, in fact, the only people it affects right now is those unions set up for private people who work for private employers. And we're just trying to make ourselves what we would call bulletproof. That they can't come over and try to seize our money or anything else because we're reporting like we're supposed to report under that law. There's not a law that really covers us. We're going to comply with a law that is a lot more stringent that we have to report for, but we will go and answer to that law so nobody can come in and say, you don't do things right, therefore we're going to take away your money and try to take everything away from you. So that's why we're doing it. And I hope that sort of answers the question.
No, not really, but I guess I just cannot separate the fact that our region and our locals do not have any employees, and now we're asked to start filling out information and get an employee identification number, and we have no employees.
Well, the employee identification numbers is broader than that, in that it is a corporation number. And for nonprofit status or to be a tax exempt organization, then you have to file it. It doesn't matter whether you employ anybody or not. If you decided to employ somebody, you could, but you don't have to have an employee. Okay, because you are an organization. Whether you employ a person or not, you are an organization. You're a local one. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with this, but do you know what fidelity bonds are? Okay, it protects you against embezzlement and fraud, and or misuse of local funds. And used to, NEA carried that protection for all presidents and treasurers, whether you were local or state or whatever. I'm going to have to call it was through the general counsel's office, and the only reason I know that it exists is that I had a president who took money from us, about $5,000, and she got arrested. And so we applied to National Education Association. This is for a local, active teacher local. And the NEA came through with the bond with the money to replace what had been stolen. It happened to one other organization I know about. And our person got arrested and had to pay back the money. The other person got a really nice orange jumpsuit for 5 years that they wore as the clothing during the day. They stole $100,000. But again, the fidelity bond came and returned the money. Now, when you go to have some kind of organizational event and somebody asks you if you have insurance, I want you to look at what it says, that if you probably don't carry liability insurance, but it says that if you will invite an NCAE employee, in other words, an organizer or a UNICEF director or somebody who's paid by NCAE, then you could be covered under NCAE's liability insurance. So if you ever have a big to-do where you're going to have a lot of people and somebody might get hurt, and they have asked you beforehand because it was going to be a big to-do, then that's how you can get covered, is invite somebody to your event that is employed by NCAE. You let NCAE know, and they can get you covered under the NCAE liability policy. And you would do something like that if you were having like one of those, maybe some kind of huge fundraising things where you're having a whole lot of people and entertainment and that kind of thing. I would say for most of our meetings, we only have about 25, 30 people, and we're not going to worry about too much about liability insurance at the JS cafeteria. Okay?
But Gretchen, aren't we as local treasurers covered under NCAE's umbrella for bonding insurance?
I don't know about NCAE because normally it came out, as I said, out of the general counsel's office at NEA. And I have got to call the general counsel's office and find out. There used to be a
Okay.
small brochure that was out there, and I remember it because it was a trifold blue. And so when this happened in Monroe County, not Monroe County, Monroe Parish, Louisiana. Excuse me. I was in Louisiana. They have parishes, not counties. And when it happened, and so I went to the LAE, and they got me in, our exec there got me in touch with the NEA General Counsel, and they sent me down the forms. And I worked with the treasurer and the vice president of the organization and got it all filled in and everything. And then, and we were very lucky in that the pictures had shown up. You know, when you go through a drive-through ATM, they even have a camera there, just like they do at some of the other places in the
Right.
bank. And they had gotten pictures of her using the ATM card to take money out of the account every day at the maximum amount for 2 months. So she got away with a lot of money.
Mhm.
So what I tell people, if you want somebody to have a credit card, but make sure it doesn't have a way for people to draw down money on it. Okay?
Mhm.
Um,
Uh, I'm sorry, Gretchen.
uh-huh,
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you all. You were asking, I think Mr. Norm was asking about the bonding.
uh-huh.
You will not
Right.
be, we will not be under NCAE's bonding. Bonding actually is only for, in this circumstance, a bonding is for staff. So you all would get what they would call financial insurance. It's the correct name of it. Yours would be a little bit different than the state, but I think the general question was, will we be under NCAE? And the answer would be no.
Mm.
NCRSP was not able to get the bond insurance. What we do have is insurance that protects the whole entire account, whether it be our checking account, whether it be our investment account from embezzlement, fraud, and misuse. So it's a liability insurance that we pay every year with our insurance company, but it's not a bond insurance. You all may be able to get a bond insurance for your particular accounts because they are at a lower, uh, I want to say price point, but a lower amount. That if you have an insurance company that is in your local area that you have a relationship with, sometimes they will do a bond for the account
Right.
itself, and they will have whoever is named on the checking account to be
Right.
underneath that bond insurance. Okay.
Right.
But you have to specifically contact the ones that's in your general area. They give them a lot easier than the bigger name Nationwide, State Farm. We weren't able to get any of those. But some of the insurance companies that's in the local areas have been known to bond the insurance for the checking accounts for you.
Okay, and I will also check with NEA through general counsel to see if they still do that for all the locals and if it
Thank
covers the
you.
retired locals. Okay. Uh, Anybody have any questions about your local budget or doing the budget or any of that kind of thing? And I will tell you that Nell would be really, really pleased about, that if you have folks who sign up new members, we are happy to give those folks a little present for helping us out and increasing membership. If you sign a new member, you get at least $10 for it. And did we increase that to 15? I can't remember, Carol. I don't have my budget in front of me.
Yes, we did. Unless it's a cash pay, it's $10.
Okay. Then and be sure that if a local member signs somebody up, that they have put their name on there as the person who signed them up. Okay? That way we can get them reimbursed, or we can get them their money for helping us out by recruiting a new member for us. So make sure your folks know that. Because
Kristen, I have a question about the budget.
okay.
I'm new on board as the local president, and I have no idea what went on before this time. Our local has been shut down since COVID, and so we're just starting back. Is there a budget template that we can use? Because I've asked around and no one seems to have a record of a budget.
Okay, June. Now, where are you again?
Vance County.
Vance. Oh, I come over your way.
Okay.
Do you mind doing it over the holidays?
Not at all.
Okay. Then I'll get your if you would put your information in the chat box, I'll give
Okay.
you a call because I'll be coming that way.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. And we can talk budget.
All right.
And I don't know, do you all do any pre-retirement workshops? Do you all have like the people who may be going to retire in the next 3 or 4 years, and you bring somebody in to talk to them about what the benefits are that they'll get upon retirement? If
If I could speak, a lot of locals do that at the end of the year before. Yeah, a lot of them do that, and also Colleen, she does a lot of the pre-workshops also.
Okay, and so June Pearson does them up in our area. But if you want something like that, let your regional person know, or your local president, and they go to the region, and they can get you someone to come and do that workshop for folks that might be interested in your area, and they'll explain to them how everything works and who they need to contact about stuff. So, and they usually have the whole health insurance thing in their heads too, and talk about the state health insurance plan that people will be under when they retire. And that does two things for you. It makes you look good, and you know, we have they Nell's crew has done up a gorgeous little brochure we give out and information about the organization. And then if you get their names and you want their home email address, because once they retire, they won't have a school email address. So ask them for their home email address and see if you can get their cell phone number. And a good way to do that is to have a door prize. And the drawing, you're going to pick out maybe 3 names, but you'll have everybody's name who attended, their cell phone number, and their home email. And that can go into things later when you hear that some of them are retired. Now you've got a way to contact them. Okay? And you can pay for those gift cards that you're going to give out. as benefit to members under giving them information about retirement issues and health insurance. All right. Okay. Just you probably already know this, but please, please, please don't ever mix your PAC money with your local dues money. PAC money is a totally separate thing, and it is never mixed with dues money. The PAC money should go to, it usually comes about between January and the time of the convention, and we always have a big PAC drive there. But that money goes into a whole separate fund. It can't be used for any other purpose except the political activity money. And none of your local dues money should be used for any kind of local political money. Okay? You can't use it for that. Okay, I did go through this thing and those the Google template does not work here. I went in to see if he had one and it is not there. So if you would like, I will be happy to send you a copy of this PowerPoint. It is in a PDF file, so you'll be able to open it whichever thing you want to open it in. So what kind of questions do we have? Besides, you all just hit me with a brick. So, well, Norm, I look forward to seeing you in Concord. You be sure to talk to those folks and just so you all know, if you come to the convention, you've got to go on and see the convention flyer. It'll also be on the website because we're saying that y'all should hula on down to the
Right.
convention. Last year we did a Mardi Gras thing. Be sure and bring your grass skirts. Woohoo! You can bring your fire things that you're going to twirl for us.
Yeah, that'll happen.
But the banquet's going to be fun, but the convention is going to be very, very informative. And we would love to see all of you there. You will be getting a letter from President Gunter about encouraging the region and the locals to send their treasurer to the training. And I will be sure that Matt Howard joins us from NCAE to give you even more explanations about why we're doing this. Okay, that way you can hear it from the guy at the top. All right.
We have a question.
Yes.
Barbara Howard has a question.
This is going way back to what you said, something at the beginning of the thing about the treasurer not writing a check to yourself.
Right.
However, if I, as treasurer, we have a speaker and we pay for their meal, I pay for the meal because most of the time restaurants now do not want to take checks from organizations.
Right.
So I do write me a check just to reimburse myself for that meal, but I have a receipt that it was for a speaker's meal.
Okay.
Is that acceptable? Or should I maybe give my president to pay for it? Then I'll reimburse the president instead of me.
You all are co-treasurers. Are both of you on the checking account?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then have her write the check to you to reimburse you for that meal and attach the receipt to that.
Or maybe I just have her pay the bill and I reimburse her. Because I'm not sure what my bank will do. She's never written a check at all, or signed her name to it. So it would probably
Is she on the signing card at the bank?
She's on the signing card, but she's never used the card. She's never written a check. All the checks that have ever been written, and the numerous years that we've been co-treasurers, I've been the one writing the check. So I guess
all she has to do is sign it. You could write the check. If she signs it, that's fine. You can't write a check to yourself and sign it yourself. That's not code.
well, okay,
But you could write it to you and have her sign the check, and then
okay. Or I might
that
just have
makes it
her
fine.
pay for the meal, and then I
Well,
would get,
the
Either
bank is
way.
going to, yeah, you could do that too, but the bank is going to look, if she's on the signing card, they should accept the check.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And they should know who all's on it.
well,
Because
yeah.
June and I,
It's been
if
many,
I
many
have,
years. It's been many, many years that we did this. And the bank
okay,
has changed banks all during this time. So I guess maybe we maybe need to double check that we both are on it. Yeah. Okay.
please make sure that you're both on it, okay?
Okay.
But
Uh,
if I'm co-treasurer, what's the difference between me signing it and her?
Because in legally, it just looks a whole lot cleaner and a whole lot fairer
Let-
and stuff
Well,
for, I mean, that's
well,
not supposed to happen. If you want to, you could you could write a check to the bank, sign your name because you wanted it out of your account. They don't even like counter checks and stuff anymore. But for auditing purposes, they're going to look at something like that. They will
well,
look to,
we'll do it. Either I'll let her pay and just write to her, or we'll make sure.
that's fine. If she
We'll
pays
straighten it
for
out with
it,
that, make
then
sure.
you write a check to her and
Yeah.
sign
Well,
and attach the receipt.
okay. Well, that's probably what we'll do rather than having you. Okay. Just wanted to clear that up with you.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah,
Well,
good group. So we'll get this sent to you. And I really, really appreciate your attendance and I appreciate your attention. And I just look forward to seeing you all in Concord. Okay.
We'll be
I
there.
don't promise a grass skirt. It would probably clear the building. So just I'll bring my Hawaiian shirt. Okay. So I'll see you all later. Have a very wonderful and joyful holiday season and a very happy new year to all of you. Thank you.
Same to you.
You too.
See you later.
Barbara,
Bye-bye.
tell Larry hello for me, for Randleman.
Oh, okay. I now realized